CR101radio.com, podcasts, and more.
6. Fear and the Present. November the 1st, 1955. Good morning, friends. Some people find it difficult to settle down and to do the business of everyday living because they are fear-ridden and thereby hamstrung. The simplest daily chores are an overwhelming burden, and a tremendous effort of will is required to settle down to the simple obligations of life. Perhaps what is required of them is an ordinary and routine responsibility. They know that it must be done, and that other people do it without a moment's hesitancy. They know that if they fail to do it, or if they defer it, the matter will only haunt them, only add to the burden of their already burdened lives, and yet they find it most difficult to face up to their responsibility. Such people are afraid of the present, of the here and now. They postpone, defer, evade, fight shy of any and every demand for responsibility and action on their part because they are afraid of the present, of today, and of this very hour. For them, the clock is always stroking out the unhappy summons. The time has come, the time has come. The clock's ticking reminds them, this is the hour. They live constantly in the shadow of apocalyptic doom and are too paralyzed with fear to face up to life's common responsibilities. Their whole world is tense with expectancy. The mailman, the newspaper, every contact is loaded with the burden of expectancy. Something is on the way, perhaps escape, but almost certainly the end. These people can never live in the present. They insist in living in the past and in the future. Because they are guilt-bound people, they are past-bound. All their yesterdays are more real to them than their todays. Whether they interpret the past as happy or unhappy, they are past-bound and guilt-bound. They are in a fearful prison of their own making. Physical chains can easily be broken for them by others, but the chains of sin and guilt are of the spirit, and they can be broken only as man faces himself in the sight of God and finds grace and forgiveness in Jesus Christ. Not only are such people past-bound, but they live in the future also, avoiding the present. They look to the future hopefully as a source of all good. Somehow, tomorrow must become a Garden of Eden for them to compensate for all their yesterdays and todays, and to give them what they believe they deserve. People who are afraid to face up to the present are people who are afraid to face up to their responsibility. No man ever evades responsibility. Every evasion only haunts him all his days and grows more grievous in its burden. The Lord demands an accounting, and no man renders up his tally according to his own tastes and his own dishonest numerics. The demanded accounting is not limited to Judgment Day, nor is it merely an annual audit. It is a moment-by-moment affair, and to evade our responsibility at any point means increasingly dishonest bookkeeping in our lives thereafter. The only way any man can successfully and triumphantly live in the present is to face up to his responsibility under God, and yet no man can render a perfect accounting to God. No man can successfully discharge his God-given responsibility to the point where he puts God in obligation to himself. The only answer to this dilemma is for man to confess his sin and guilt, his failure to meet God's requirement, and to accept Jesus Christ as his own God-given substitute, the atonement for his sin, who in his person discharges our responsibility and by his regenerating work in us makes us free in conscience and responsible in our living. When we face up to our responsibility, recognize that we have sinned and seek the grace of God and become members of Jesus Christ, then the present is not something to be evaded, but an area of triumphant living. Then indeed we go from strength to strength and appear before God as victors. O Lord of hosts, blessed is the man that trusteth in thee. Psalm 84, 7 and 12.